congratulate you on taking that very important first step, and that's walking through the door of Nai Harn Gym. Now what we're going to do today is we're going to show you step by step how to answer that question that you're having. Look, I have no idea what to do. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you exactly what to do in a very, very easy to follow step-by-step video. Now, when you come to Nai Harn Gym, you might recognize Sue as one of the members who's always running around and who's very, very active. And she will be the first one to let you know that, look, this is a place where everybody's very accommodating and very, very helpful.
Yeah, it's a good fun gym to be in, nice people of all different age groups and different nationalities.
And also very, very positive energy, which is very, very encouraging for you to help get the results that you want. And I'll just give you a little bit of my background. My background is I have a degree in kinesiology, that's exercise physiology. I've been in the industry for over 15 years. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you a little bit about the science behind exercise science. So one of the very first things that you want to do when you come to the gym is we got to get your body warmed up. Now the purpose of the warm up is number one, it's to get blood flow to the working muscles, increase your rate of respiration, and most importantly, we want to wake up that nervous system. So what Sue's going to do, she's just jumped on a treadmill. She's going to do about 3 to 5 minutes cardiovascular exercise, and then we're going to do a more dynamic warm-up to mimic some of the neuromuscular movement patterns we're going to be doing in this session. Feel free too that if you want to do your cardiovascular training before your strength training, just stay on the treadmill or whatever cardiovascular piece of equipment that you're going to use. Get that heart rate going for a continuous 30 minutes. How hard should I be working? Well, for cardiovascular training, if you're just starting out, you want to maintain a conversation pace. Conversation pace, what do I mean by that? That you're not working too hard, that if I were to come and have a conversation with you, there'd be no problem for us to talk. Notice too, one of the biggest mistakes I see people making when they're using the treadmill, it's almost like they're pushing a shopping cart at the grocery store. Sue, you want to show us? Okay, look what's happening right now. The treadmill is actually supporting her body weight, and one of the things that we want to do is we want to be able to support our own body weight. So no holding on to the handles, that's going to take away from the potential work that you're doing. It's also going to affect your postural synergy as well. Remember too, when you're walking in your day-to-day activities, how often are you holding on to something? All right, so we've just finished our warm-up on the cardiovascular machine. Now what we're gonna do is more of a dynamic movement warm-up to get her body, Sue's body, really ready for exercise. Exercise number one that Sue's gonna do is something I call the Frankenstein walk. With the Frankenstein walk, very important. We're on our heels, contracting our quads, contracting our glutes, and no movement at the knee. What this is gonna help to do is gonna really help to fire those quads and get them on board. Sue, let's turn around and show people how to do the Frankenstein walk. Notice, no movement at the knees. Now, I really encourage people when they're doing this exercise to really make those Frankenstein sounds. It makes the exercise a lot more effective. Don't be surprised if you don't get a few funny looks when you're doing that in the gym. So Sue's gonna do 2 sets of the Frankenstein walk, 20 steps for each set. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to our next one, and we're gonna do a reverse lunge. Okay, with the reverse lunge, what I want Sue to really focus on is number one, neutral spine. Number two, alignment of ankle, knee, and hip. Notice how she's really activating the glute as she's stepping back. This is very important. Her knee is behind her toe. So she's gonna warm up with about 10 reps of the reverse lunge. Then I'm gonna progress her. Okay, Sue, let's bring arms above the head as she's doing this. We're gonna put a little bit more dynamic movement in. When you're doing this one, really focus on stabilizing the pelvis with those small gluteal muscles. So reverse lunge, make sure knee stays always behind that toe. The cue I like to give Sue, soft foot, hard glute. What do I mean by that? Don't load the knee, okay? Think your glute's doing all the work. So she's done 10 more of that. Now we're gonna throw in a little arms up, and she's gonna give a little bit of trunk rotation. We gotta warm up that spine as well. So reverse lunge, arms above the head, and then reverse lunge, arms above the head with rotation. So when you're adding the rotation, make sure, watch yourself in the mirror. What's happening? Do we still have that alignment of hip, knee, and ankle? After Sue's done that, she's gonna go to one of my favorite exercises to really help target the small gluteal muscles. She's gonna get a band, and you can find the band just in the pail. She'll put the band above her knees. Really important when you're doing this exercise, we want to respect the structure of the collateral ligament of the knee, so we're putting the band above the knee. All right, and this is an exercise we call side step squat. So Sue's going to take a side step, and she's going to come into a quarter squat. Very important too, when we're doing this, she's keeping constant tension on the band. And look, her knees are not collapsing. So I'll get Sue to stop there. Do another squat, Sue. Notice, we want to avoid this, our knees collapsing in. So how do we fix that? Keep that constant tension on the band. Activate those small gluteal muscles, and they're going to keep the band apart. So what Sue's going to do is she's going to do 15 reps, side step squat, and then she'll go back the other way. 15 reps the other way, side step squat. Okay, after your side step squat, we're going to do an exercise that's really going to help to increase your thoracic mobility. So Sue, why don't you demo for us the thoracic mobility exercise? Notice what Sue's going to do right away. She's just going to bend her knees a little bit, take the load off her lower back. Okay, Sue has her arms out in front of her. She brings her arms back and she's just rotating her hands up. Her thumbs are going to touch, arms pulled back, hands come up. Notice too, she's not looking over top. Line of pull, rear delt into external rotation of the shoulder. So she's opening her hands up. So your cue is pull, open. Great, Sue. As you get fatigued, you might find that your arms start to drop down. I would really encourage you to do this in front of a mirror. And what you can do is make sure your thumb is always lined up with your chin. So for your thoracic mobility warm-up, let's do 2 sets, 10 to 12 reps each set. All right, here we go. This is going to be your first strengthening exercise, and this is going to be a closed chain kinetic knee extension. Now, closed chain kinetic exercises, what it's going to do, it's going to give us a lot more stability in the joint itself. So a closed chain kinetic exercise, your distal limb is on the ground, as opposed to an open chain kinetic exercise like your leg extension machine, where there's no support for your distal limb. It leads to a lot more instability in the joint. Now notice what Sue's going to do. She's going to put her band on just below her knee. And before she gets on the step, I just want her to stand like this. Sue, why don't you just show us a little bit of knee flexion. So just bend your knee a little bit. Now straighten, bend, straighten, step back a bit. Let's get some tension on. Okay, bend, straighten, bend, straighten. So this is a closed chain kinetic knee extension. Same joint action as working the leg extension on the machine. Big difference, gives a lot more stability to your knee joint. Now this is going to seem pretty easy for a lot of you, so let's increase the intensity of this exercise. We're going to get Sue up on a step. Okay, now notice she's going to square her hips. As she steps up, she's going to really extend the knee. So we're getting a contraction in the quad. Notice her posture too. I like to give Sue a lot of postural cues, shoulders down and back. Facing the mirror. She's stepping up, firing her quad. Now, just a minute, Sue, I'm going to get you to slow down for a second, please. Very, very important. When you're doing your exercises, also work the eccentric. Don't just go through the motions. Slow it down on the eccentric. Okay, so let's go down in a 2 count, 1, 2. Now, I want to target the quadriceps. So I'm really encouraging Sue when she does this exercise. I do not want her driving up with her hip. It's a knee-derived exercise. So come on up, and then 2 on the way down. 1, 2, up. Come on down. 1, 2. So for your closed chain knee extension with a step up, 2 sets, 12 to 15 repetitions. All right, here we go. Exercise number 3. We are doing our 45-degree leg press. Now, very important when we're doing the leg press, what I want you to think about is we are going to have alignment of our hip, our knees, and our ankles. Straight line. Number 2, this is very important when you're doing your 45-degree leg press. I always cue Sue is I want her to think that I've got a smiley face on her kneecap. Okay, so what I mean by that is her kneecaps are always pointing straight up at the ceiling. We don't want to see any collapsing of the knees or knees going out, okay? Number 3, this is very important. I'm going to get Sue to bring her feet up a little higher on the platform. And what that's going to do is it's going to actually help us keep her knees behind her toes to decrease on that shearing force of the patella. Number 3, when Sue's doing this exercise, she's going to really focus on driving through her heels and lowering the weight down to 90 degrees. Okay, Sue, let's go. Okay, so here she comes down to 90 degrees and she drives up. Kneecaps are pointing straight up and we'll come down to 90 degrees. Sue, good. So this exercise, as your closed chain knee extension, 2 sets, 12 to 15 repetitions. Notice 2, position, ankle, knee, hip are in alignment, knees are not collapsing in. We've got our feet a little higher up on the platform. Great job, Sue. All right, after you've done your 45-degree leg press, we're gonna head back over to the other side and we're gonna do your seated row.